Come on in, please. Ashley Webster, Liz McDonald, Scott Martin, and John Layfield. Seems like investors don't care about inside baseball politics in Washington. Have I got it right, Scott Martin?
You do, Stuart, and the market always climbs a wall of worry. It goes in the face of the kids, as the kids say, the haters. And so this is what the market loves. I tell you, you look at the promises that Donald Trump has thrown out there, and also look at the body language of the CEOs that he meets with, whether it's retail, industrial companies, automakers. They're all very positive about future economic growth. That's what's supporting the stock market.
John, am I right in my analysis that investors don't care about the turmoil in Washington? They will only care if it interrupts the pace and flow of tax cuts and deregulation. What say you, John?
I agree completely, Stuart. I agree with what Scott said as well, because investors are worried about what's going to happen to the economy and all this inside baseball stuff in Washington, D.C. While it's not good politically, it's not necessarily good for our country, it doesn't really have much effect on the economy. And the question is, can you build that bridge between the optimism of a perceived business-friendly administration to the tax cuts and the structural regulation reform? That question is what investors are mulling right now.
John, have you, like me, been astonished by this rally since Election Day?
Absolutely. Yeah. Look at what Ronald Reagan had at October 28th, November 28th. He had the high in the market. He didn't reach that again until 1982, 2 years later, when rates started coming down. I thought there was going to be this euphoria, but I thought there was going to be a pause here, and the market really seems to be taking off, which is fantastic. The question is, can we get those structural reforms in time for the market to continue?
Well said, John. All right. Now let me draw your attention to Snap. Used to be called Snapchat. Now it is Snap. It is going public, and it's going public shortly in the future. It's going to put the value of the company at between $19 and $22 billion. It's going to go off between $14 and $16 per share. You think that's wildly overvalued, don't you, Liz?
Well, yeah, I think that the daily active user growth has plummeted to levels not seen since 2014, and that's an issue. Also, they're saying may never be profitable. They're doing the Amazon way, plowing earnings back into their business, but, you know, I'm not sure that you may want to get in on this if you want to when it goes down. I think it falls like Twitter did after its IPO.
I want to bring in both Scott and John. Same question. Is Snap going to be more like Twitter or Facebook? Which is it? Scott, you first.
I think EMAC's right. I think it's Twitter, because unlike Amazon, which, you made a good comparison there, Stuart, they are plowing money back into the company. I mean, they're sacrificing all earnings power just to kind of plow money back in. But Amazon's a system. Amazon is a structure. Snapchat is just a service. It's a software. It's an app. So overall, if you look at like the future and all the things that other companies are going to do to come out and compete with them, that's not even close to what Amazon is able to do.
Would you buy it, John, at $14 or $16 a share?
No, I wouldn't buy it. I'm worried it's going to be exactly like Twitter. Look, if Twitter cannot make money right now, it is an incredible platform, and it has transformed the way we view live performances, live entertainment. Even the Nielsen ratings are starting to include Twitter ratings. It's becoming so important. But they can't make money. And if you got a president who uses Twitter as his main means of communication, you still can't make money. I worry about products like that don't have revenue, and I think Snapchat's the same.
Okay, I want to bring everybody up to date on one more IPO that's selling shares to the public for the first time that's going to come up. Canada Goose, those winter coats, winter jackets, you see them everywhere. I've got one, my family's got one. They're going to go public. I'm not sure when, but at some point in the near future, they're going to go public, raising $100 million. Would you buy one? Buy the stock, would you?
Yeah, look, to your point, and it's funny, everywhere you go, you see those patches on the arms of Canada Goose.
Yes, it's the red patch.
In fact, I was seeing a story out of the UK the other day, and I saw people walking down the street with the same jacket on. So they're having worldwide success. They're not cheap. You can attest to that.
I have to
ask, they
ask,
are doing well, but how long does that go on?
I've got to ask John Layfield, who lives in Bermuda. You're not going to buy shares of Canada Goose, are you?
It got 56 degrees last week, which is the coldest it'll get all year here, so we don't know much about coats at all.
Shut up and leave the program now. Okay, thank you, John. Now, look at this. Look at it. Check the big board, please. We're 5 minutes in. We're coming off 7 record highs for the Dow this year. And now we're up another 20 points at 20,632. I've seen this movie before, and I like it. All right, individual stocks making news. Cabela's. They're a big retailer, of course. They're down this morning. Weaker sales. I wonder if that's part of the retail ice age. under threat from online selling. I'm not sure, but Cabela's is down. Better profits at Hyatt's, more money coming in from the hotels, and they make money from franchising and fees as well. The stock's down 1%, though. MGM, its profits falling short, and whoa, takes it on the chin by a tune of 8% down. And look at this, Build-A-Bear, it's called Build-A-Bear Workshop actually, down on weak profit, weak sales, 30% down today alone. Kate Spade shares up. Why? Because the company's up for sale. Somebody might buy them at a higher stock price. Up goes its stock. The vitamin store, GNC, losing money. Laurie Rothman at the New York Stock Exchange. Laurie, are they the victim of the retail ice age, or are they a special case? What is it?
Absolutely right. Retail ice age is a great way to put it. You know, there's this fundamental shift in the way people are doing shopping. We're all going online, right? So GNC, in an effort to boost its sagging sales, is opening a pop-up shop on Amazon.com. That's part of their restructuring program. Look at that. Shares down almost 14% here at the open. They were down as much as 20% before the bell today. Reporting a fourth quarter loss of over $433 million. Just came out with earnings, GNC did. They're ditching the dividend. They're doing all kinds of restructuring, including that pop-up store on Amazon, as I mentioned, as well as restructuring the pricing model. I mean, it's really bad. Same-store sales for GNC, people are not shopping there. They're down 14%.
They've got this expensive real estate all over the place, and I can buy their stuff online. That's a problem, I would say, and the stock is reflecting that. Laurie, thanks very much. We're back to you later. Boeing workers in South Carolina have voted against joining a union. That's not particularly affecting the stock, but it is up a fraction, 169 on Boeing. What do you got?
75% voted no out of 3,000 workers. So that was a very strong message.
That's a surprise,
And by the way, President Trump is due, I believe, to visit that very plant on Friday. So it'd be interesting to see if he mentions the union vote.
I wonder.
Yes.
But the unions are on his side.
Yeah. Yes,
they
they
support
are.
him, for heaven's sake.
I know.
Oh, how about that? How about this from Warren Buffett? He loves cheap airline stocks. I'm not sure which he's bought, but he's added to his portfolio substantially. John, would you be buying any airline at this point?
I have been. I've been buying Delta and American. They got a small dividend, but most of these airlines, they're priced in as if fuel is going to go to $70, $80 a barrel. And I think because of the West Texas shelf find, that you have a ceiling on that around $60 or something like that. So I think they're off on the projections of fuel prices. I agree with Warren Buffett here, and I do own Delta and American.
Scott Martin, I lost my shirt on a stock called People Express a generation ago, and I've never touched an airline since. Are you an airline investor?
I used to love People's Express. I flew that with my family all the time between Dayton and Columbus and also St. Louis, Stuart. So I'm with you. I wish that airline was back. You know, John's right, though. The airlines, though, have been somewhat overdone. I mean, a lot of them are pretty expensive here. Yes, they're betting on higher oil prices, which we're probably not going to see. But I also like the fact that airlines are charging you for everything on board these days. So they're making more money off you, the flyer, than they really ever have.
Well, that is true, but I don't think you're old enough to remember People Express.
It's true. I've got pictures.
Okay, I'll believe
pictures.
it. Okay, I want to see them. Oh, serious story and just an awful story. Here it comes. A double murder in Chicago streamed live on Facebook. This is kind of, it doesn't affect the stock price. I'm not implying that for 1 second. But this is a hazard of modern technology life, isn't it?
You know, listen, I was thinking about this. You can't stop it. We're live television. What would stop something from happening here? We have a delay, don't we? Is there some sort of delay that if you suddenly started swearing?
Yeah, it's a good point.
So maybe they could enforce some sort of delay on their video service that would stop this stuff from going out live.
But some of these incidents stay on Facebook live streaming for days and weeks. So Facebook says it has a team, a global team, to stop it. But the way it works is if you or I see it, you report it to the team, and then they pull it down.
You know, this stuff on Twitter, or hate on Twitter, venom on Twitter, trolls on Twitter, hurt the stock.
And it couldn't sell itself.
Could the same thing, what the streaming crime, could that hurt Facebook stock? I mean, John, Scott, you're still with us. John, do you think it could hurt the stock, this kind of thing?
Yeah, it could, because you give idiots a voice out there, and they've never had that voice before, where they now have access to a medium that has 1 billion users. The murders are right. These are horrific, but if it wasn't this, it'd be a different platform. Unfortunately, you can't blame Facebook for that. But the fake news and all the trolls and these idiots that get on social media, that is hurting these companies.
It's the world in which we live. John, Scott, both of you, thanks very much for joining us this morning. Always appreciated.